Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's presentation of xLights Gems series on making your display a show with Scott McCoy. And with that, Scott, take it away. All yours.
Thanks, Andy. We are going to have a little fun tonight. It's going to be a little different than the normal Zoom sessions in here on Wednesdays because this one's really not technical. This one is more creative and kind of thinking through your show and your process. So, real quick, my background is in IT development and tourism marketing and strategy. So it's a lot of video production, audio production, coming up with certain criterion plans for museums. I start museums and all of that. And it's also creating the plan for the visitor. So with that in mind, what I do with my show is I make it a show instead of just a display. A lot of people will just put in a sequence and then another sequence, song after song after song, pretty much repeats, might be an hour long, might be 2 hours long, might be 10 minutes long, but it's essentially a series of songs. What I want you to think about is turning that display into a show. And where that ties in with tourism and tourism development is people aren't coming here or coming to your show just to see blinky lights. They can see blinky lights anywhere. They can speed down the street and get blinky lights behind them. Blinky lights are just blinky lights. But when you create a show where it looks like you've got more thought into it than just throwing a bunch of songs in a playlist, then it really creates something special in my view. And that's what I try to do in with tourism. So for an example, today I had a tour group, very large tour group bus that came in. I primarily do Route 66 stuff, but I have, a whole spiel. We just don't arrive and go, hey, welcome, look around, and that's it. I get on the bus. I've got, a few jokes. I leave my shirt on because Andy makes me. And then introduce them to whatever they can see around the area. They get off the bus. I roam around with them. I'm on a Segway, which I don't really have to have, but it's one of those pieces that creates the experience. A lot of people end up taking pictures of me or asking about the Segway. Breaks the ice, gets them into the stores, and they spend money. So it's very much kind of a Disney-esque type of a situation. Somebody's going to look at your display and realize you're putting on a show. So a lot of this, it's actually kind of a couple steps. And forgive me, I'm getting over a little bit of a cough. So I don't mean to keep coughing in your ears. There's a couple different steps to this when you think about it. And number one is the sequence of the show itself, how the show it runs at night while it's actually in play mode. There's also how it looks generally when the show is not running. So I'm going to show you a series of pictures here. And I know I've got kind of a big screen, so it's going to maybe be a little, see here. This is my house. It's not huge. It's got a pretty decent number of lights on it, but this is what it looks like during the day. So for the most part, you can tell I don't use choral props. That's just kind of not my thing. I don't want them around my yard and whatever. They're great. You can do some really cool stuff with them that I just can't do with my display. But this is just how I chose to do it because I want my Christmas house decorations to look like a Christmas house during the daytime. Obviously, my lights are on in this photo here, but it's because it's dusk and it's getting closer to the show. This is something that kind of hides it, right? So as I'm putting my show together in the fall, I don't have the luminaries out yet. I don't have my signs out yet, some of the big elements. And people will walk up to me right up to the house and they're like, "Hey, are you doing a show this year?" It's like, "Well, yeah, I've got 85% of my lights out, but they can't see them because I kind of hide it." It's that Disney-esque thing. It's hide the magic. So I like that. I like hiding it. I've actually built all of my landscaping for my show. The porch is actually all those columns and everything you see are hollow. It's where I channel all of my cabling to reach throughout the house, and then my unit, the control stuff, is all kind of on the right side of the porch there in the garage, so you don't see any boxes or anything outside. The Tune To sign is on just a printed yard sign, and I dressed it up a little bit with some wood. Again, I wanted to make it look like a little nicer than just say a campaign sign or something. So it's all built to kind of be hidden during the day, and then at night it comes alive. I also like the tune in sign like this because if you think about it, if you have people driving by during the daytime, and this will make a little sense here when I show you some sequences. When they drive by during the day, they still have a sign that they can see. And I do broadcast the entire day, even when there is no show, because technically there is a show. So at nighttime, it looks like this. So you can see it's pretty much the same. It's just, and all the elements were hidden during the day. And then, of course, in the evening, you see this as the show plays. So what I want to do now is talk about the sequences that create the show both during the day and in the evening. In the day, because you can see that tune in sign, people can tune in, and I'm transmitting all day long. It basically starts at 7 or 8 in the morning, whatever it is, and it plays during the day. Of course, no lights are on. This, so Andy and somebody, let me know if you can hear this properly as I play this. It's just kind of light music.
No, no sound.
No sound.
Nope. Did you share sound up in your toolbar?
That's probably what it is. Shares. All right, where's there it is. All right, share sound. All right. Let's see what we got here.
There you go.
Welcome to the McCoy Family Christmas Lights Show.
Is that too light, Andy?
Yeah, it's okay. It's a little
It's okay.
low.
All right. All right.
Welcome to the McCoy Family Christmas Lights Show. Tonight's show begins at 5:30 p.m. and will run until 9 p.m. If you want to learn more about this show, visit McCoyChristmasLights.com.
So that'll play. That's essentially about a minute, 50 seconds or so. And it'll just loop. Of course, there's no lights. It just plays. So anybody, and this happens a lot, cars will pull up. They'll sit outside for a little bit. What they're doing is they're tuning in to see when the show starts that evening. I have a daytime. I have two different schedules. So on Friday and Saturday nights, it goes longer. So it gives you different times. But they'll play during the day. Then I have what's called an evening. So the evening show daily. So here you can see I have 3 sets. So the regular weeks are here, day and evening. Friday and Saturdays are different, so there's day and evening. And then Christmas itself has a day and the eve. So we'll do an evening now. So this is a Friday and Saturday evening, which goes to midnight.
Welcome to the McCoy Family Christmas Lights Show. Tonight's show begins at 5:30 p.m. and will run until midnight. If you want to learn more about this show, visit McCoyChristmasLights.com.
So you can see it's playing the lights a little bit. It's just something to get them started because it's still somewhat light out, but it lets people know that the show's coming up. And if they come here early and they sit there, they're going to hear this announcement and realize the show is going to start at a certain time for that evening. When the show begins, there's an immediate kind of a very basic short. This is actually not it. I loaded the wrong one. But there's a short, it's now time for the show to begin. Let's see, which one did I do here? So it'll loop that loop in the evening, the day first, and then the evening with the lights. And then when the show's ready to play, it'll kick in.
Welcome welcome to the McCoy Family Christmas Lights Show.
Now, all these voices are done by a gentleman from Fiverr, and he does all my Santa voices. He's really terrific. So that's not AI or anything. I prefer having real people on there. That's the real Santa too, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Then the show will start. So now my sequences, of course, will play, and then in the middle of the sequence, the songs, I have what's called a sequence. So I separate mine out into a sequence, which is like an announcement, beginning of the show, ending the show, those type of things. I call those sequences just for my personal head to keep them straight. And then the songs themselves that are sequences, of course, I call them songs. So I'll play 2 or 3 songs, and then I'll play some kind of a mid announcement or something along those lines. So let me kind of show you what those are like. Maybe. Here we go. So this is the ending of a song, and it'll go into a prearranged playlist announcement.
Ho, 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 ho. It's wonderful to see all of you this evening. I hope you're enjoying the McCoy Family Christmas Light Show. This show runs through New Year's Eve, and throughout the Christmas season, we add new music, so come back and see us again. If you want to learn more about this show, visit McCoyChristmasLights.com. From the McCoy family, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now, on with the show.
There's a couple different versions of that as well. And you can also see that, and everybody should be doing this, in my opinion. Let's get to here where I have, this is projection mapping, or just a projection onto my garage. I use 3 projectors throughout the show, and I give them a URL so they can go find my website and pass it along, share it, that sort of thing, get a little free advertising out of it. So that is how I run the show. Again, it's just not song, 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 song. I also, this is just my personal preference, but I have maybe 20 to 30 songs total that I do. And then I will play maybe half of them in a playlist, and then I will rearrange it every day or two. I add some, I take some out. The popular ones, of course, I keep in, and I jumble them up or turn on shuffle. That way the show is never exactly the same. Now, one of the neat things about this, what did I lose here, is if you're using FPPmon in a Raspberry Pi and running your show with the FPP, you can add an add-on called Big Buttons. Big buttons allow you to simply pull up your phone or the computer and just hit one of these buttons, and you can separate them into different areas. So you've got announcements, main, I've made a maintenance one, and then an actual one that triggers a particular song. So the courtesy reminder is one that just says, Santa says, hey, everybody, just make sure you turn your lights off and you don't block the view of others or whatever. When that happens, I look outside, I've got a camera, I can see out and see the traffic. When somebody's blocking or they got their lights on or whatever the situation may be, I can just click this button and it'll throw into the playlist for that announcement. So again, that's kind of part of the show. Some people will just shut the show off or whatever, depending if kids are playing in their yard, those type of things. But I just throw out this courtesy reminder and do that. One of the most important things that I've hit are these works. So there's a 1 minute work and then a 1 minute now work. What these do is when I have a problem, let's say I have a prop that went out or I have to go out and fix something, right? And it's during the show. When you break your show and just shut it off to try to go out and work on it, or you're working on it during a regular song in your sequence, then you've got an issue. People see you out there. It looks like something's wrong. They're not really understanding what's going on. So I can trigger this. So the work 1 minute will trigger a sequence that says, hey, we've got an element of the show down. We need to work on it, and it plays a little funny kind of 1 minute of music. If I need to stop it immediately, that's what the work 1 minute now does. It doesn't just put it in the playlist so the song ends that it's currently on. It literally just interrupts the show right now and plays the work. This gives me a minute to run out there, fix the problem, plug it in, whatever, and move on. The songs one that I use, so I have a somewhat interactive show. Again, it's not just songs, it's not just pixels. I use projection mapping in there, and I also use animatronics, and I also use live action. So, and I don't have any video of this because I know everybody's going to ask. I just haven't had the chance to because it's kind of hit and miss when I do it. But Christmas Town is a song that I have. It's from Elf, the musical. I dress up as Elf and actually go out and interact with my show. And it is a blast. People really, really love it. I get a lot of compliments on it. It's goofy, it's silly, but for those who know me in this room, that is pretty par for the course for me. But I'll show you some of those elements there. But again, it's making it a show. It's giving you something that is not just a series of songs. I also I send a letter out to all of the retirement homes and villages and so forth and invite them to come to my show. If they're going to come to the show, if they know a date and evening when they'll bring a bus from the nursing home or the retirement home or whatever, if they know the date and time or approximate time and let me know, I actually have my Santa guy create a voiceover for it. So he'll say, "Welcome, XYZ Retirement Village. It's great to have you here," so on and so forth. That is created. I create a sequence for that. I put it into this big buttons section. And when they show up, they usually text me, or if I'm watching for them because I know the time, when I see them roll up, I hit it. It throws it in the playlist. Now all of a sudden they have a customized part of the show that is specifically for them. And again, it kind of blows their socks off. And we get cards. People love that stuff. And wow, I can't believe you really put it in there. I even had a group of 2 years ago called the Bad Moms, and it's a Bad Moms Christmas bus or whatever. It was like a big bus full of moms. They were all drinking on the bus. And that's the only real video I have of me going out and dancing because I did that song, and some of them filmed it. I was going to show it to you that they shared, but they were a little too happy to have any decent video out of that. But someday I'll do that. These are probably the two pieces of my show that I get the most the most comments on, and they're compliments, but I mean, most people kind of like, wow, I can't believe that was really cool. We have an issue here in Central Illinois that it's dark when my show's running and my wife is still working. So I work from the home, so it's not really a big deal for me. But when my wife gets home, it's dark, the show's already running. She needs to pull into the garage. So now what do you do? And likewise, if I need to take off, or if we're going to go out for dinner Friday night and the show's running, you're going to open up the garage, you're going to screw up your show in the middle of a song, etc. So I have these two sequences called arrival and leaving. When we arrive at the house, we pull up. If there's cars watching it, I'll click on this button and it will put it into the playlist as the next song for a specific arrival sequence. Same thing when we're leaving. My wife will get in the car in the garage. She'll hit the button. We also have a little touch screen in the garage hooked to the Raspberry Pi, so she can just click it there too. Gets in the car and it will allow her to leave. So I'm going to play those so you can see what those are like and how that doesn't interrupt the show or the display, quote unquote, and it will actually enhance it and become part of the show.
Oh, I see our owners are arriving home and need access to the garage. I'll resume the show in just a moment.
Do ba 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 do boo do a boo ba do boo ba do a do ba do ba do a do ba do ba do do do
The McCoy Family Christmas Lights Show will now resume.
So obviously you can see that my show controls everything there. So it throws it in the playlist. You get kind of those runway lights on the side, and it opens the garage door. That's all connected into my controllers. So the show is controlling everything. It shuts the door and so forth. The reason I showed you that little zoomed in part, and you'll see this again in this next video, there is a couple of LED bulbs that I have inside the garage. So when my wife pulls in or out, it'll actually warn her with a green light, it's okay to go. With a red light, the door is either opening or closing. And, so don't try to go, because she's not controlling the garage door. The computer is. So that was the arrival. So this, if I can find it here. This is leaving. This will show you the controls a little better.
Sorry for the interruption, folks. Our owners are leaving and are pulling out of the garage. I'll resume the show in just a moment.
Phenomena. Phenomena.
The McCoy Family Christmas Light Show will now resume.
So it creates again, it's part of the show instead of a break or a problem in there. And just like the work, if I have to go out and do some work on it or pause the show, all of those are elements that are added in and around the songs for Christmas that create part of the show. So I'm going to show you, this is pretty neat. This is something that I did last year, and I'm working on it, and it'll be incorporated this year in this year's show. So since I do projection mapping, I'm going to actually take this. So that's me with a beard. Kind of forgot I had that beard last year. And I'm going to project the door portion of it only on the door. And so it really looks like my garage. And then I'll come out and say hi and wave to people, etc. But it'll just be part of the show. And it'll look like when the garage door will open, actually look like it's opening, even though it's just a projection, and then it'll close and you'll see me in there having some fun. So adding all of those pieces to it, the customization, that is all a part of what, just instead of playing songs, you have a show. Now, this is me in my elf costume, looking sexy as hell, in my garage. So I bought the costume, and there's that song I told you about that is interactive, Christmas Town. And I come out and I lip sync and so on and so forth. So part of that, I had to create some silhouettes. And this will show you the interactive, or not interactive, but kind of immersive part of it. So I did all of this filming, and then I removed it, and then I did some chroma key stuff, so on and so forth. Now, the reason it looks goofy, but you'll kind of see why the movements were the way they are. The show starts, the song starts with Santa wanting to read you a Christmas story. And we have a front window. So when you look at our house, let me pull that back up here. We have this front window here. This is the projector that projects down onto the window. The projector for the garage, just so you know, is over here on the side. And then I have another projector that's hidden back up into here, which projects a singing face onto my Nutcracker. But this one here projects onto the window in these 4 panels. My window is automated, so it has slats for the blinds. It's all computerized, and again, it's part of the show and on timers. So when the show begins, or gets about 5 minutes before the show begins, the automated assistant will shut my blinds. They are now a projection screen, essentially, and that's what projects onto them. So again, during the day, it looks nice, and then it projects, and that's what you see. Just to give you an idea of what the projection looks like. So here's a little test that I was doing, and it projects those elements on there. I don't have the crossbars here taken out of the windows because this was just some testing that I was doing on this particular piece. So here is the actual projection.
Let Santa read you a Christmas story. It begins once upon a time in a little village here at the North Pole called Christmas Town. You know Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer and Frosty the snowman too. But did you ever hear the story of the elf who grew and grew and grew?
When you're born a Christmas elf, you wake.
So what happens right there is it looks like I'm a silhouette in the inside the house, which of course is all the projection. And with my house being, let me pull it back up here. So you'll see me here in the window. Looks like I go like this, and then that's when I open the door. I open the door and I pop out. Now I have LED floods, or the RGB floods all over the place. There's several up in behind here. There's several down in here, and then there's one up with the projector, then some ground ones. So as I move around and interact with Santa Claus, that is animatronic, and I interact a little bit with the Nutcracker, as I'm moving around, they're watching me, they're doing things and kind of interacting with the song. Again, it's all part of the show. And then all these floodlights are lighting me up when I move around. So when I pop out of the door, there's a spot up here and a spot down here that'll flood me, and it looks like a spotlight. And then I come out, then I have certain marks to hit throughout the song. So it's quite fun. We have a lot of people that really enjoy it, and we don't do it every night. I have to be available, of course. I wait till somebody is there, enough cars. So if there's just one car, unless I know them or whatever, and then I will trigger it this way. Otherwise, it does not play in the normal sequence of things. So it's kind of that specialty sequence or whatever that you would have in there. So that is really how you would take a show and turn it in, or take it a display and turn it into a show. Now, at the end of your show, you still have more show usually to go. Didn't mean to make that rhyme, but I'm just that good. The video, or the sequence then that I will have at the end of my show, I will have the nightly show ending. So it hits the end, hits 10 o'clock or whatever.
Ho, 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 ho. Well, that's our show for tonight. If you want to learn more about this show, visit McCoyChristmasLights.com. From the McCoy family, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
So this goes on for a little bit, a little over a minute, and then it'll go into the nightly, or there's actually an after show. So that's a one-time play. Then it'll do an after show here.
Ho, 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 ho. Hi, folks. Our show is over for this evening. For showtimes, visit McCoyChristmasLights.com.
So this was about a 5.5 minute loop, and this will play for about 2 or 3 hours. And then I have an overnight. So the overnight as you can see, that the lights are still moving and so forth for the after the show. So it's pretty and it looks nice to have those Christmas lights. And then the overnight has really soft Christmas music. And all my lights are muted because I don't want to be blasting everybody. And there's really no movement. So now this is the overnight. There's a little movement in my luminaries here because I want them to look like luminaries. So there's a little flicker to that. But pretty much the lights themselves do not move on my house. And you can see they're quite muted and dimmed. And then it's very, very light music. So that will go till 1 or 2 in the morning. And then I shut it off for the evening. Pretty much everything ends then. And then I can't remember if it's 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, it'll start up again with the no lights sequence, but just the FM transmitter audio, letting people know that that evening the show's going to start at this time, and they can come back or go to the website and get more information. So the whole concept and the idea here for me, and everybody's different. Your show's going to be different depending how you want to do things and what you're capable of doing with your home. I have the big garage out front, which I really don't care for, but I found a way to utilize it into the show by using projection mapping. But again, then I had to do something around my show because pulling the car in and out just doesn't work. Or hitting at the end of the night and the show just stops. Boom, it's just off. And I don't want people to think my show crashed or I lost power or one of those type of things. And that is why I really encourage people to just to think about the other things in your show. Think about how instead of just playing the songs, how do you greet people? How do you give them these little reminders? What do you do before the show? What do you do after the show? And all of that together makes it an experience that people won't forget. And it gives it a polished look, a little more professionalism, and it's well rounded. So again, it's something that I didn't do the first 2 or 3 years that I got into this hobby. And the more in depth and kind of professional I wanted to make it, I got more and more into those. And quite honestly, those arrival and leaving, we'll have people asked to do that, or they'll film that, and they just, oh, that's really super cool, and it doesn't interrupt the show. So, any questions? That's pretty much my presentation. It's just more of thinking through your show, thinking how you can make it better, a little bit more polished, and have some fun with it.
There is one, and then I have one. John asks, what kind of projectors do you use, Scott?
Okay, so the projector that I have, I'll just show this to you real fast. Let's see, I've got one in here. Okay, this is my main projector. So this is an Epson, and it's about 4,000 lumens. Case obviously I built, and also again I hide it. So since my garage door is white and it's large, I need a larger projector for it. The other two are quite a bit smaller, and they're one was like $50, and let's see this one here. So this is the one that's mounted on the side of the house, and it projects pretty far, but it's fairly narrow. I don't even remember how many lumens is this, but this is probably an $80 or $100 projector off of Amazon, just one of those cheap little ones. And then the one up here, so this, you can see it in this picture, is a very cheap one, and it's literally like a $40 projector. But again, it only goes to his face, and it projects onto his face. And then I have a projection that's like this.
Look, real trees are trending downward. Your sales continue slipping.
So that's the video that actually plays on it, and it looks like this. I don't have the audio on this part, but you can kind of see I took the face off. This is a real high quality Walmart plastic thing. And I just took his face off and took the mouth out, which needed to be kind of rebuilt because it had depth to it, and made a little projection screen out of it. Does that answer the question? So I have 3 different projectors depending on the need.
Yep. And my question is, can you show off Santa for the xLights Gems coming in September?
Yes, I can. I'm glad you said that because I had that ready and I totally forgot. So my Santa is an animatronic Santa, and he's part of the show too. Boy, I'm glad you mentioned that. I would have been mad to leave that out. One of the sequences in the show or the songs is what I call a Santa explainer. So he's animatronic. Again, he's a Walmart body, one of those goofy things. And I just ripped him apart because I just wanted the head and the body, put him in a chair and created, he's got 10 servos in him, 10 or 11 servos. And he moves and interacts and so forth. So I created this sequence that tells people about my show because those are the questions you get. Wow, what kind of lights are those? How many do you have? How does it work? And he explains it to you. So here's my Santa explainer.
Have you ever wondered how our show works? This show is made up of thousands of lights.
It's very muted, Scott, and it's not showing. We still see the picture of your house.
And animatronics.
You say it's very muted?
It's very muted, and you're still showing your slide.
I'm showing my slide. Oh. I'm sorry. You see it now?
It's coming. There he is. You just make it bigger if you can.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Have you ever wondered how our show works? This show is made up of thousands of lights called pixels. We also use other elements such as projectors and animatronics. All the pixels, other elements, and music are controlled by multiple computers and specialized control systems. Pixels can be controlled independently or together as groups of pixels. And when used together, they create some really cool effects. I'll show you how it works. Here is one pixel. Can you find it? It's right here in front of me. I can change it from white to red to green or any of 16 million colors. I can light up one element of the show, like the Christmas tree here on the porch. This tree has 150 pixels that work together. I can give the Christmas tree a special effect too, like this. Let's see this same effect on all of the trees. Oh, that's pretty. Even the luminaries are pixels. They may look like real luminaries with candles, but they are controlled by the show and give a realistic flicker, just like a candle. The fence in front of me has 450 pixels, all set in a grid. This is called a matrix. It can display some neat things, like this. Or even this. And when everything works together, it's Christmas light magic. That's how our show works. Want to learn more and see some behind the scenes of how the show is created? Just visit our website at McCoyChristmasLights.com. From the McCoy family and me, Santa, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You could even see I used the spots on Santa too to light him up. Is that what you wanted to see, Andy?
Yeah, that's fantastic. He's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And I think I linked your website, right? Because there's a demo and a how-to, not a how-to, but how he did it on his website.
Correct. Yeah. So if you go, I'll just pop it up here. It's McCoy, MCCOY, McCoy Christmas Lights with an S.com. And there's about our show, how our show is created. A lot of this stuff I'll talk about. Of course, people ask about the lights and the pixels. These are all the different elements of pixels that I use in the show. How I built the Santa is right here. A lot of the testing of Santa. And then this is what you just saw. This is the Santa explainer video. And other things, the projection mapping and basically how it's done. Here's the face that I took off. And here's the two of the projectors.
Very cool. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, on September 17th, Scott's going to do another GEMS presentation on servos and how Santa's built.
Boy, no other questions?
Any other questions? If you have them, you can holler them out now.
Something there about voiceovers. You might want to mention that again.
Yeah, the voiceover gentleman I use is from Fiverr. I'll actually share that with you. Whoops. Let me pull it up here.
We can all have the same Santa in our shows.
Santa available for sale at McCoy Christmas Lights.
Yeah, if you go to the Fiverr, you'll find several Santas. Here, I'll share this. And most of them are pretty darn good. Let me see. This is let me find the guy I use. I don't see him on there. They must have changed.
And somebody asks, how long's your playlist before it repeats when you do your...
My playlist is about 20 minutes. So I try to keep everything kind of a situation with shows is you try to keep them to 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, and so forth. So I do 20 minutes-ish because it's not perfect. But then I also have the sequences in there. So it ends up being about 25 to 30 minutes. And there's a couple different reasons for that. I don't have massive numbers of people watching my show every night. I mean, I could have a dozen cars out there at one time, but not a ton. And a lot of people want to see the same song over. So 20 minutes is enough for them to sit there and do it. I also don't want people to show up for my show and go, oh, I want to see the Santa explainer. And that's not going to come up for another hour and a half because I have a massive list. So they can sit there, they watch it, and it's short enough that it has them move on. Once they see it, they go, okay, it's now basically repeating. That's fine. We're going to move on. And then they'll get out of the way and then other people can see it. But again, I changed that playlist out too. So if they come back the next night, they'll see a different set of a show list, a playlist. So this is the gentleman that I use. So he'll do, for $10, he'll do 50 words. What I like about this, working with a live person like this, is you can ask them how to do, what to do, which is still difficult in AI, even though AI's got some pretty good voices anymore. So I'll say, kind of chuckle at this and then do this or and such. And I have them do it in breaks. So my order would be something like, I wonder if it shows my order here. Just gonna see if I could. No. Let me look at my order. I've used this guy a lot over the years. But so I would say, say this line, then say this line, then chuckle here and do this, or sniff your nose or whatever. And it's just little sections. So I don't use it as he sends it to me. I then cut the pieces out that I want and I can adjust it. So our show runs from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Well, if I change it to 11 p.m. instead of 10, then I'd have to re-record it. So I had him record to 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. till midnight. And then I can cut those in and nobody knows the difference. Of course, this was also before AI made that a little simpler. And that's just how I used to do it back in the radio business. But that answer that question?
I think so.
Phenomena.
Yeah, somebody want to know where'd you get that sound, that version of Phenomena.
That is the Muppets.
I have the
version.
lyric track.
You can buy it on Amazon.
It's great. It's fun. And my work ones are kind of like that too. You go out and you work. It's a little goofy. The lights are still on, but they're just like static. But it's made for me to go out and be able to do some work and still be able to see what I'm doing.
I think we can go there. Thank you, Scott. That was fantastic. Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks. With that, I will stop, and then we can